I am doing something new today because yesterday I didn't like the way my video looked because I was doing that from my computer. So today I'm doing it from my phone and I really don't know how to use this. I don't even know where comments will appear. We will see how it goes from here, but I hope that I'm live, and let me just check that I am. Okay, let's see if I'm live. Okay, great. So we are live now. All I want to talk about today, and you know that if you've watched yesterday's video, we are going to talk today about how to build an in-demand brand. And we are going to talk about one of the things which is really important, and I'll reveal that in just a second. But I want to talk about one more thing, and that is, we've talked about this yesterday as well, you know the drill. There are two giveaways happening. One is $100 off towards any of my programs, so $100 credit towards any one of my programs, and the second prize is $50 credit towards any one of my programs. And all you have to do to get entry inside this giveaway is to just take a photo of you watching this training, add that to your stories, tag me, and put one takeaway, your biggest takeaway from this. If you are watching replay, you can still do that and you can still join the giveaway. Okay, so this is amazing. I'm loving the whole thing that I've created for you today, and I will be looking over here because I have my notebook over here. I have my notes over here. I want to make sure that we cover every single thing. This is literally going to be this is where your business actually starts moving, because this is going to be where maybe you had struggles before, maybe you were struggling with something, your in-demand branding, your mindset, every single thing. Now you wouldn't. This is going to be the milestone where everything starts shifting. Okay, this training is going to be so good. So if you watched yesterday's training, we talked about in-demand branding and we talked about the benefits of it, what happens with an in-demand branding. And in-demand branding is the reason why you don't need a mile-long sales page. It's the reason why you don't need to build that trust. It's the reason why you make sales effortlessly and people watching you cannot reverse engineer what is happening. How are you making so many sales? How is this happening? People cannot figure that out. All of that is happening because you have an in-demand brand. The reason why people stay with you for a longer period with you because of you, not because of the information that you are providing, that is because of an in-demand brand. The reason why you have repeat clients, that is because of an in-demand brand and because your containers are really valuable and really transformative. That is why it actually works. Okay, so now all of this, we know that all of this happens with an in-demand brand, but how do you build that in-demand brand? So I will say that you cannot talk about an in-demand brand without talking about authority. These are so linked in together. So what you need to do is, you have an in-demand brand. People trust you. People think of you as an authority. People are warmed up towards you. People just buy everything that you are putting out. That is because you have an in-demand brand. That is because they see you as an expert. That is because you have built that in-demand authority, in-demand brand. You are the brand. Okay, so what we are talking about over here, we are actually going to dive deep into the different things that we discussed yesterday in terms of in-demand brand was that it includes people trust you, it includes authority, it includes warm-up because you're nurturing your audience along with you're growing your audience, right? So nurturing is part of the in-demand brand element out of all of the 3 elements that we discussed yesterday. But we are going to dive deep into authority today. And the reason why I want to dive deep into authority is because I know how to build authority. I've built 2 Instagram accounts from scratch, and it hasn't taken me long to actually build authority because I know how to do it. Even before this, the previous Instagram account, I was an authority in the topic of my choice, which was Instagram coach. When I started making a lot of sales from there, I actually took a 5 months break through that, after which I was like, I have to get back again, but I am going to create a new account because now I want to position myself as a sales mentor. And it didn't take me time to actually build my authority in being sales mentor because I know how to build an authority, and that is what I want to teach you today. Okay, so inner authority, there are 2 types of authority, inner authority and outer authority. Inner authority means how you see yourself. You cannot pretend and show up as an authority. If I want to position myself as a sales mentor and I'm not making sales, it would be hard to pretend like that. It would be hard to pretend that. You cannot have outer authority without inner authority. Outer authority means how people perceive you. That is how you actually have an in-demand brand. But it starts from inner authority because you cannot pretend to be someone who you are not. Right? So, here's what we are doing. We are going to talk about inner authority today because this is the mindset piece. And you might have heard of how mindset is 80% and strategy is just 20% in business. That I had heard so many times before, and I was like, why do people keep saying that? My strategy is working fine for me. When you get to a level, you would understand how much important this is because self-doubts, because imposter syndrome keeps showing up again and again and again, and it happens at each and every level. You show up to a new level, you scale a bit, and there's new level of imposter syndrome. There's new level of self-doubts. There's new level of negative thoughts. That happens because this is how our brain works. And we have to get rid of that. We have to work on that. And this work never stops. This is why I said yesterday that this work never stops. You work on it again and again and again. You keep working on it. You keep working on the in-demand brand. This is not something that you just work today. Your work is done today and then you are done for the day. Like you're done forever. And then it keeps coming in. And then the sales coming in. You work on your in-demand brand again and again and again. So there are 2 authority types, inner authority and outer authority. Inner authority means this is how you see yourself, and that is what you project through showing up on live trainings. That is what you project through showing up on stories. That is what you project through your written content as well. And outer authority is this is how people perceive you. And there are so many ways in which you can actually, I wouldn't use the word manipulate because I don't like that word, but there are many ways in which you can actually shift people's perspective of you. You can do a lot of things. There are so many ways that I teach inside TCA, the Clients Accelerator. There are 6 ways that I teach inside the Clients Accelerator that this is how you build your authority. There There are strategies for it. You can do that. But there's also a mindset piece to it. I do have a lesson about mindset, but now today we are going deep into that mindset part, the inner authority part, because this is the thing that you would struggle again and again and again. Every level you might have heard of, new level, new devil. Every level will have a new devil, new imposter syndromes, new negative thoughts, new beliefs, and you have to work on that again. So you need to know how to work on those, how to make sure that you are actually shifting your negative thoughts into positive ones. Because you cannot show up with that negative thought. You get triggered by someone today, you get triggered by your coach, or you get triggered by a negative comment, and you stop showing up for 2 days. That is not how an authority shows up. You need to know how to work around that. How to work on your negative beliefs. And that is how you always show up with authority. Because we are not playing here a game of pretending. I don't teach you to just pretend until it comes in, right? We have some kind of a thought out there that you just pretend until it comes to you, until you become that person. We don't do that. We actually work around those things. And I don't have a training around this particular lesson, this particular training that we are doing here. We don't have a lesson on this inside TCA, the Clients Accelerator program. I wanted to add this, but I decided that I'm going to make this available for free because this training is so needed in this industry, and this training is going to shift every single thing in your business if you implement this, because implementation of this training is hard, because this is not just a strategy that you do, this is mindset thing. Okay, so this work never stops. At every level you would have new things showing up, new things coming up. So for example, in the beginning you might have the negative thought, no one's commenting. Oh my god, is my content bad? Or my story views are really low. Why aren't people interested? Right? Today my likes were really low. What is happening? People don't like my content. I'm really bad, and my content is not good enough. These are beginner level problems. These are beginner level limiting beliefs. At a next level, you'd have bigger problems or bigger limiting beliefs, like, would I have to start from zero this month? Last month was great, but can I actually do that again? I don't think that I can do that again. I think it was just a fluke. It was just by luck. I don't think I can do that again. That is the next level thing. In another next level, you might feel like, will I reach my energetic minimum this month? There are different levels of limiting beliefs, and I will tell you, I've read many books on mindset, many books on manifestation. I've taken many programs, courses for this mindset stuff, and I've invested a lot of money in not only, like I would say that I've invested a lot of money in just this mindset stuff than I have ever invested in the strategy part. Because this, I know that this thing is really, really important. And I've taken so many things that now I've been able to come up with one thing that actually I'm able to implement, because this mindset stuff, you might have seen, every single person has their own strategy. Every single person has their own ways of teaching this. And I've gone through so many of these. One of my mentors, her name is Tamara Ross. I love her content. She teaches manifestation is a completely different way. She teaches mindset in a completely different way. And her stuff is really good. But I would say that I've gone through so much, so many things, so many books, so many programs. Every single person has so many different things that it's difficult to remember that, and it's difficult to practically apply these things in your actual life. It's so difficult. It's difficult to actually apply. Just like they would say things like keep your vibration high, or they would say things like feelings, think about your feelings, they should be positive. Are they positive? Are they negative? How can you actually monitor all of these things in your whole day? This is so hard. And you have to remember so many things. Okay, am I in that energy? Am I high vibration? Am I this, that? Remembering so many steps. I used to actually have a note on my phone. I used to have a note on my phone, and I added that as a widget on my phone so that I can actually remember all of these things. But I couldn't ever practically apply these, even though I had that on my widget. As soon as I opened my phone, I could read that. But I couldn't apply this in real life because I didn't have a simple step-by-step process. Because there were so many steps, so many things to remember, it just felt like everything is so scattered. Mindset piece is hard, but not when you have a step-by-step thing. And when I'm teaching you today, what I'm teaching you today, this is very simple, but I wouldn't say that this is the end-all be-all. If you vibe with this, if this works for you, go with this, or just try to tweak it in a way that it starts working for you, because there are not many moving pieces inside the strategy that I am going to teach you today. Inside the step-by-step method that I'm going to teach you today, there are not many moving pieces. There are only 3 steps. So, integration used to feel very hard in real life when I actually went through all of these courses, all of these programs and books and all of these. I can give you so many names of people of whom I've taken programs, of whom I've read books, and it just feels like there are so many pieces that I need to remember, and I don't know how to integrate this in real life, right? So I want to talk about this. I would give you 2 names, and I would also suggest you to read this book, Rich as Fuck by Amanda Frances. Read her book, that is really good. She also has a step-by-step process, but that didn't exactly vibe with me. Again, I've also read Get Rich Lucky Bitch. She also has a 5-step process that didn't vibe with me. It didn't vibe with me. Because just remembering those 5 steps, I don't know how you work, but I know how I work. I know how it works for me. And remembering too many pieces and trying to integrate all of those together in your life, it just doesn't work for me. Okay? So, I'm going to teach you just a 3-step process. This is really simple. And I'm going to take you through every single one of these, what to do in which step. And then I'll also give you an easy way to integrate this into your morning routine so that you are able to integrate this in real life, okay? So the first step is, in your daily life, just observe. Just observe. What are your thoughts? What negative thoughts show up? What are you telling yourself? What are your feelings? Just observe without giving it any meaning. Okay, if I have that thought that I'm a total failure, if I'm a total failure, does that mean anything about me? It does not mean anything about you. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Limiting beliefs are just limiting beliefs. They don't mean anything about you. They don't mean anything about you. Okay? So the first step is just to observe what thoughts are going on in your mind, you get a little bit stressed. Like, these are the easiest ways to figure out what thoughts are showing up. You get a little bit stressed, your mind is getting pressurized. Just get back to what you're thinking behind the scenes, like behind your mind, behind your brain, what is happening. And then just observe what those thoughts are saying to you. Okay, I have this negative thought. Okay, that negative thought. Okay, that negative thought. Don't make it mean anything about you. We are just observing at this step. Okay? And throughout your whole day, you'd also feel like there's a pattern in the negative thoughts, the negative beliefs, limiting beliefs that are showing up. You'd feel like this one thought is coming up again and again. Or this one thought gets triggered when I see this or when I do this. At a point in the beginning of my business, I used to feel really anxious before opening that Instagram because I knew that I would have DMs, or I knew that I'm going to chat to that person who I sent a link or whatever, and that person, I would see whether or not that person has put me on scene or whatever, right? That doesn't happen to me anymore because I worked through those things. So throughout your whole day, just figure out, just observe what is happening. When you're feeling stressed, what are your thoughts? Maybe also note these down. Right now we are just observing, so just note this down. Okay, this was the thought. After a while, you are again feeling a bit stressed, or there's a pressure around your mind, and you again do that. You again note it down. If you can remember, I'm not a person who can remember things, so it actually works for me when I note it down. However it works for you, note it down or just remember these thoughts. Just observe. Don't make it mean anything about yourself. Now, the second piece, the second step is to shift this to a positive belief. And we don't want to, this is the biggest mistake that people make, and this is why mindset thing doesn't work for them. And that is, you just try to say just the opposite thing of what your negative thought is. So if you say that I'm a total failure, you are putting a positive belief, or this is why also affirmations doesn't work for people, because you are putting a positive belief just opposite to that. I'm a very successful person. Now you don't believe in that, do you? Like, you might if you're successful, or you might if you worked on this, but if you don't believe that thing, if you don't believe that positive belief, that will not work for you. If you don't believe in an affirmation, that will not work for you. This is why of affirmations that you might have downloaded from someone's PDF or freebie, or from someone's website. You can download all of the affirmations, but those won't work for you if you don't believe in those. Which is why you need affirmations that are very much created for you. So the first step, you observe all of your negative thoughts. And you do this every single day, even while you're doing the next step. Even while you've worked on a lot of your limiting beliefs, because this work never stops, right? So the second step is to just shift this to positive belief. How do we do this so that we actually believe in this? You ask useful questions. You ask yourself useful questions, and those questions and the answers that you give to them will bring you towards a very positive statement that you actually believe. And this is your very own affirmation that will work for you. This is the best thing that you can do. And I will give you an example for this. But I will get back to Rich as Fuck, Amanda Frances's book. And one of the things that she does in order to shift her limiting beliefs that she has shared in her book is that she just asks herself, is this ultimately true? Is this ultimately true? And to most of her limiting beliefs, The answer is no, this is not ultimately true. Which is how she is actually able to shift her negative thoughts into positive ones. So, this is really good. This Amanda Frances's book actually took me to a point where I could work around a few things, but to most of the, not most of the negative beliefs, but to some of your negative beliefs, you'd be like, is this really true? And you might be like, maybe this is true, right? So if you're thinking, let's just take an example. Why would people pay me? I've got nothing to provide to them. I'm a total failure. Now to this question, if I ask, is this ultimately true? And you are at a point, you are at a very negative point, you might just say maybe. Or if you think that people are not responding to my post, not many people have liked it, there are not many comments, I am a total failure, or people don't like me. People don't like me, let's just take that. That is a negative thought, people don't like me. Now, to this question, if I ask you, is this ultimately true? You don't know. You would say maybe. There's evidence over here that it is not working for me right now. Right? So maybe this is true. So this is why when you can actually say, is this ultimately true? When you can actually say no to this, you can turn that negative belief into a complete opposite positive belief, and you would believe that. And that would be your new affirmation. But when you actually say to that question, maybe or yes, when you ask yourself, is this ultimately true? And you say to yourself, maybe or yes, this is true. That is when you are stuck. That is when you need to actually find a workaround statement or affirmation that is not exactly opposite to the negative belief that you have over here, but it will take you in between the negative and positive, but you would be able to believe in this affirmation. That would be your new affirmation. So the easiest way to do this is to ask useful questions. So I will take you through this here. I've created one affirmation through one of the negative beliefs that I see a lot of people have, the same one that I said before. Why would people pay me? I've got nothing to provide. I'm a total failure. Now, just ask question towards shifting your belief, right? And there's no right and wrong question over here. You just keep asking question, and when you keep asking question, 5 to 7 questions will take you towards a positive belief. And when you do this again and again, you'd understand which type of questions to ask. Never feel that, like one of my clients told me, I am afraid that I'll ask the wrong questions. There are no wrong questions. If your negative thought is shifting a bit when you ask and answer, then you are in the right direction. There are no wrong questions, okay? So I'm just doing this, but this is not the only way to do this. You can ask different questions, but just see that whether after doing this exercise, you have shifted to a bit positive than what you believed before, right? So I'll ask the first question. So our negative thought is, why would people pay me? I've got nothing to provide them. I'm a total failure. Question is, do I really believe I'm a failure? Now you would say, no. I've got so many things, so many places where I am a success. I'm a good mom. I'm a good daughter, whatever, right? And I'm not a total failure. So this is where you've shifted the belief, I'm not a total failure, right? But you're not exactly at a point where you're like, I'm really successful, right? Because that might have a really high standards in your mind, right? So the first question was, do I really believe I'm a failure? No. I've got evidence that I am good at this and this and this, okay? Next question. Have I got nothing to provide to my clients that they can pay me for? And you'd be again like, no, I've got a lot of things. I can teach them X, Y, and Z. Now these X, Y, and Z, now we've got something. that you know that this is so good that people are going to pay for? Am I not able to show my followers why they should pay me? Next question. Am I not able to show my followers why they should pay me? Your answer would be, most probably, I think I'm doing good. Or I think I can show in just a different way, and I know what to do in order to shift that, in order to show that people should pay me. The next question. Do I believe that someone who joins would be very lucky to work with me because of my clients? Because of my skill set? Do I believe that someone who joins to work with me would be very lucky because of my skill set? Yes. You know that. You know it's going to be a yes. Yeah? So, the next question. Do I believe people would pay me for that skill set? The answer is yes. Now, once we have answered all of these things, we have shifted a bit in our mindset, but we need a new statement that we can hold on to because we believe in these statements, right? So, the new statement, other than the previous statement, the limiting belief that you had before was, why would people pay me? I've got nothing to provide them. I'm a total failure. Your new statement is going to be, my skills X, Y, and Z are so important that people would be more than willing to pay to learn. They would be lucky to join. This is so good, and it's not the exact opposite to what you said before, but this is in the middle ground. This is a workaround. You found a statement that you actually believe in because you ask the questions, what you believe in, what you don't believe in. Can you work around this? Is this possible for you? Do you believe this is possible for you? And then you found a new statement. Now you found a completely new statement which you actually believe in. This is your new affirmation. This is your new affirmation. Affirmations don't work, haven't worked for you because those weren't customized to you. Your affirmations have to be customized to you. Okay, so we've gone through this, right? And we can see that we are shifting our beliefs, right? Now, the first step was to just observe what negative thoughts are showing up. We are just curious. Be curious. Don't make of it anything about yourself. And the second step is to shift that into a positive one. And now we have an affirmation, right? Now, this is also one of the things that I felt really, really bad that I couldn't, like, affirmations was one of the things when I read people's books. Okay, do affirmations, do this and do that, and there are so many moving pieces, and I couldn't actually work on these because there are so many pieces over here. Now we only got 3 steps. The third step is integrate this in your real life. Integrate this in your real life. You've done this exercise, okay? That is not enough. You've created an affirmation. That is not enough. You have to actually integrate this in order to shift your mindset. Otherwise, this whole thing is a waste of time and it will not work. So what you need to do is to actually, every single day, your whole day. Now you're also observing, but you're also integrating. The third step is to observe and also integrate. A new thought is coming up, a new negative thought is coming up. You observe it, you don't make anything about it. And maybe you note it down if you're a noting down type of person like me. Maybe you note it down that this is a new thought, we need to work on that. But if the same thought shows up again, you come back to your affirmation, your new positive belief. You come back to that affirmation again so that you can shift that belief again and again and again. And this time, this affirmation is going to work for you because you actually believe in it. Okay, so here's what we need to do. Integration part. This is really good. Without this whole thing will not work. But I will give you one morning routine. If you do journaling, that is really good. We are doing kind of like a journaling, but we are going to make sure that we are working on this. But I'm going to give you a morning routine that will help you integrate this whole thing in your daily life. Okay, so what we are going to do is every single day have a notebook. Okay, create a notebook that is just for this work. When I started out, I used to do this work every single day. I have 2 to 3 notebooks full of just this work. I don't need to do this again and again because now I'm at a point where I don't need to do this in notebook. I can just observe my thoughts and shift it in a second because I am at that point now. But still, I do have some days when I am really down and I have to work on these again and again. So what I do is I do this exercise again. And it's so easy when you get triggered by something and you don't want to show up and you don't want to get out of your bed, and that one day might turn into the next 5 days. And in order for me to make sure that this one day doesn't turn into 5 days, as soon as I do this exercise, even today, because I told you, right, I don't need to do this exercise every single day, but when I'm really down, if I do this exercise, it just takes me back into my zone. It just takes me back to my authority, to my leader, to me being a leader. So, the third step is integration. We've talked about that, but how do we integrate this in our everyday life? I want you to create a notebook that is just for this work. Now, no one is going to read this notebook, okay? No one is going to read this notebook. Every single day, come to this notebook, write a date, and write down, how do I feel today? How do I feel today? And to this question, you would free write every single thing that is coming to your mind. Without stopping, without cutting anything, without correcting your grammatical mistakes. You're not doing any single thing like that. You're just free writing. You're just free writing. Until all of your thoughts are on that notebook. And when you do this for the first time, there's going to be like 2 pages filled. 2 pages filled with this because you have so many things to say. You have so many things to vent out about. Maybe you would cry. But there are so many things that is in your mind that you're not putting out. It's very important that you do this so that it's out on the paper, and now we can work on the limiting beliefs that are going on in your thoughts. Next, what I want you to do is read that again and then underline all of the thoughts, all of the things where you've written negative thoughts. So maybe you've written, and first time when you do this, you'd feel like, this is so insane. I don't want to do this. This feels foolish and I don't want to do this. Just write down every single thing. Write down whatever you are thinking in your mind. And after a point, you would be like, it's flowing. It's flowing. I know this is in my mind. This is in my mind. This is in my mind. It will start flowing until you don't have any thoughts anymore. Like you've written down every single thought that was on your mind. Now, the next step is to underline all of those negative thoughts. Okay? So maybe you've written down something like, Yesterday, there were no likes on my post, and I feel really bad about that. Or yesterday, that person DM'd me that she is not going to join my program, and that really hurts. I feel like, and then every single time you say something like this, how do you feel about that? I feel like I'm a total failure, or I feel like no one wants my offer, right? These are your negative thoughts. So I want you to underline all of your negative thoughts. In the next page, I want you to write down all of those negative thoughts, and we are going to do that thought reversal exercise that I told you before to come up with your affirmation. You do that for all of those negative thoughts so that you now have affirmation for all of those negative thoughts. And I will tell you that this task will feel very cumbersome in the beginning. On first day, I remember when I did this exercise, I had like 20 points, 20 negative points, 20 negative beliefs, and I had to ask 5 to 6 questions for all of those to turn them into affirmations. And that felt like a job. That felt like this is too much, but I did that. And then I integrated that into my life. But once you keep doing this, so today you went through 20 beliefs, right? You now have 20 affirmations. The next day, you might have just 15. The next day, you would have just 2. Because you've gone through so many negative beliefs that now you don't have those anymore. And because in the whole day, you're also integrating this. You're observing the thoughts. You'll also go through your notebook where you were writing down your thoughts while observing. This is the new negative thought that showed up. And you would create a new affirmation for that also during your morning routine. And then, once you've done this whole thing, you feel really good after creating all of these affirmations. But if you don't integrate this in your whole life, in your real life, while you're observing, so all day you are just observing the thoughts and integrating. Okay, this new thought showed up, I'm noting it down. Okay, this old thought came up, I'm choosing to believe this affirmation. You choose. There are only 2 seconds, not even 2 seconds. There are just a few milliseconds that you have when you are going through a negative thought to choose whether you are believing in that negative thought or whether you are believing in the new affirmation that you've created for yourself. There are only a few milliseconds to decide that. Integration is when you actually decide. You observe that this thought came in, you don't make it mean anything about yourself, and then you actually choose. You decide that this is going to be my new thought. This is my new affirmation. I'm choosing this. That is the integration part. And when you do this again and again, you'd see that those old thoughts don't show up anymore. You can actually go through your old notebooks where you used to go through these morning routines, and you'd feel you can actually go through that and you can see how many of those thoughts you don't have anymore because you have integrated those, and you now have completely new thoughts and new beliefs. But this work never stops. At every new level, you'd have new limiting beliefs. New level, new devil. But we go through these to actually get to the next level. If you're stuck at the same thing, if you're still stuck at no one liked my post, how can you get to the next level, right? So this is the work. This is the mindset work. So there are so many thoughts that might be showing up to you. Do you actually believe that you are an authority? Let's just answer that. Do you actually believe that you are an authority? You have an offer. Let's think of one of your offers. Do you actually believe that you are the best in this thing, in the whole industry. Even if you don't think this you are the best, but do you believe that you know so much more than your ideal clients, that you have valuable things to provide to them? If you don't believe in that, if you don't think of yourself as that, you would have limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs that will not let you show up as confidently, sell as confidently as you could have in order to actually make sales. You show up in the way that your brain makes you think of yourself. And people can see through that. No matter how much you try to pretend, pretending doesn't work. This is why you need to work on this. Come up with your own affirmations. Work on that, integrate that. And then you show up with authority. You believe that you are an authority. And then, just believing that you are an authority in that, just change the shift that happens. Once you start believing in that, change the shift that happens and you just show up in a completely different way on stories. You show up so much more confidently because of this work. So there are two main things, inner authority and outer authority. These build up your in-demand branding, but outer authority doesn't happen. People perceive you the way you perceive yourself. How do you perceive yourself? Have you worked on your inner authority? That is when the outer authority comes in. Yes, there are strategies, but strategies only work so far. I've seen so many people who share social proofs every day. You share social proofs every day, but is it bringing you sales? Sharing social proof is one of the strategies to show your authority, to build your outer authority. But is it working for you? That will not work until you build that inner authority. This is why, especially when it comes to your business, think of all of the thoughts that are happening. Maybe you sold today on stories. Maybe you came up on stories and you are selling, right? And now, just after selling, you're thinking that, why would someone buy that offer? That offer doesn't feel really good. It's not that good. I should just stop selling. Oh, no one reached out in 2 days. I should just stop my launch. How do you go through that when you're having those kind of limiting beliefs? What do you make yourself about that when no one is reaching out? How do you keep launching even when results aren't showing up, even when no one is reaching out? That you do through inner authority. I've gone through so many examples I've seen from my mentors, from so many people that I follow. I've seen them launching and they've told these stories so many times. They have launched. On first 2 days, they would get so many sales. In the middle, there would be like very little sales. Like no sales. No one is reaching out. People are just watching. Engagement went down. It feels like no one is watching. And on the last day, there's a splurge of sales. On the last day, there's a splurge of sales. If you just stopped your launch, on the second day, all of those people, all of those extra 8 people that joined on the last day, how would they have joined? How do you keep showing up when things aren't looking that good? That is the work. That is the inner work. You do that, you keep your mindset in the right position, and then you show up. I've also seen so many people, so many of my ideal clients I've seen them launching, and they've heard from people like me that you don't stop launching, and that is why they keep launching even when things aren't showing up, but their energy is down, but they are not showing up as energetically, as confidently as they could be. They're not showing up as that, and that is the reason why even on the last day they didn't make any sales. Why did that happen? That happened because your energy was down. This is the work that you do when even the results aren't showing up, when even it feels like no one is watching. There are so many times when in my own business, there were times when I felt like people aren't watching. And I still keep going. And that is how I have a consistent income. That is three times more than my high paying MNC job, my 9 to 5 job. That is 3 times higher than my high paying job, and it's consistent. And that happens when you have your mindset right, when you have that inner authority built in, when you are showing up even when people aren't, it feels like people aren't watching, because people are watching. During a launch, you'll feel like no one is watching because people don't want to show their face yet. People are watching, and I will tell you, and I think I told this yesterday as well. I think I said this yesterday as well, that people during a launch, you'd feel like people aren't watching, but the high level paying people, the high ticket paying people, they are mostly lurkers. They are mostly lurkers. They just lurk around, they just watch you, they keep watching, and they just show their face when they are ready to join. They would just come in and they would say, I'm interested, I want to join, just send me the link. They are convinced. They convince themselves. They don't have any questions. They don't have any objections. They never have objections. High ticket client, they just come in and they just say that I am in. I want to join. Just send me the link, just send me the price, and I am in. You attract these people when you have your mindset right, when you have your inner authority piece right. So the 3 pieces that we learned right now is, first is you observe. Throughout your whole day, you observe what thoughts are showing up. You don't make those mean anything about you, but you just observe. And if you're like me, you also note these down, because we are going to work on these on the next day during our morning routine. The next step is to shift this into a positive thought, into an affirmation. And you go through all of the steps that we discussed. It's not that you just do a negative, it's not that you just create an opposite statement to that, because you wouldn't believe in that. We need a workaround. So we go through the steps that we discussed. And then the third step is to integrate that in your life. Without integration, this is not going to work. During your whole day, this is why these steps feel so simple to me, because I don't need to remember too many things. That was the thing that was a missing piece for me when I went through so many mindset pieces, so many mindset courses and programs and books. It didn't work for me because I had to remember so many things. Now, during your whole day, you just are doing 2 things. You're observing and integrating. You're observing and integrating. That's all that you're doing. And if you're in the beginning of this work, you would actually do the daily morning routine that we discussed, so that you're working through all of those limiting beliefs that are showing through your day, your whole day, and you're shifting those again and again. And while you're doing your observing and integrating during the whole day, you know how to shift those old beliefs into affirmations, right? So I know that you might not have many limiting beliefs when it comes to your life, when it comes to anything else, and when it comes to your health. You might have, but mostly you might have about money, and you might have about clients, and you might have about your business. And you might also have about things like, can I be successful? I don't think that people would pay me $1,000 ever. I don't think that people would pay me $5,000 ever. These are limiting beliefs. You are saying to yourself all of these limiting beliefs because you believe in this. But what if we create affirmations, work around these, and create an affirmation so that we know when this thought shows up again during your whole day, when this thought shows up again, you know how to deal with it. This is why this is so simple, because during your whole day, you're just doing two things. You're observing. If there's a new thought, you just note it down in your notebook or in your phone. And if it's an old thought, if it's an old belief, you just integrate it. You choose, you decide that I'm choosing to believe in this new affirmation that you've already created, right? And it is so insane. I would actually love to go back to my notebooks, because I used to do this every single day, the morning routines, and I have 2 to 3 notebooks full of just this morning work, just going through this. And I would love to go through those and see how many of those limiting beliefs I don't have anymore. And this would be so helpful for you to go through as well. When you go through this, you would feel so insane, and that alone would just show you how much ahead you've gone through, how much ahead you have come from when you started doing this exercise. But this work starts right now, and this work never ends. At every level, and I'm just repeating myself, right? At every level, you would have a new devil, you would have new limiting beliefs. Which is why working through this, I've read Amanda Frances's book, Rich as Fuck. I would suggest you that you read this book. But I've read that, and in one of her chapters, she has actually said that she still gets limiting beliefs and she still works through all of these, even at that point when she's making millions. And she is working through these, and she has actually shared a few of her limiting beliefs as well. Maybe she gets one bad comment, and that makes her feel like this one comment is going to bring everything down. And we know that that is not going to happen. And she also feels like this is the beginning of the end, in her own words. But she knows that that is not true, which is why she shifts her beliefs. This work never ends. You keep working on this, and this is how you build an in-demand brand with full confidence, without pretending. We are not pretending. I don't teach you to pretend. But this is how you do the work. Okay? So, I would just tell you one thing different from our conversation today. I have a call in just 30 minutes, and that is a TCA call, but this is why I had to actually shift the timing of this training. We used to have this call at 5 p.m. IST. Now we had to do this at 4:30 p.m. IST. But that is why I'm just going to go through, we have gone through so many things, but right now I'm going to go through a few things that I've written down over here that will actually show you whether or not you believe that you are an authority, because we are talking about the inner authority, right? So, if you need to visit someone else's content to make sure that you are saying something that is not against the rules of the rules of your industry, then you don't totally believe that you are an authority. There are a few things that need to be changed. I'll say this again. If you need to visit someone else's content, someone else that you follow, to make sure that what you are saying is actually not against the rules of your industry, or that that person wouldn't go against that, or that person would agree with that, then you don't fully believe that you are an authority. Next, if you aren't sharing your opinion without checking it with a bigger account, if they would agree with you. These are different as well as a bit similar. If you are checking that a bigger account would agree with you, and you aren't sharing your opinion because you're scared that you would get cancelled, then you don't totally believe that you are an authority. You have your I totally believe, and I know this for sure, total full confidence, that you have thoughts, you have opinions about your industry, but you're not sharing those thoughts. You're not sharing those opinions because you have some kind of limiting beliefs about it. You have some kind of, you're afraid that this won't work. You're afraid that you would get cancelled or that you'd get negative comments. We don't want those people who don't agree with you. It would be better if they actually unfollow you. You might also have that fear that people would unfollow you if you say this. And I really loved that trend that came in when people were like actually sharing things like, what would you say that if you said that you would get cancelled? I want you to answer that, and I want you to create a post on that. This is one of the assignments that I would give you to actually build your authority. And you might feel like, okay, this post didn't get many comments, didn't get many likes or whatever, but this post actually shifts people's beliefs, and they make you, the right people will get attracted more towards you. The right people will get attracted more towards you when you create such posts. So that is the second one. The third one is, if you aren't sharing your content and you need content inspiration from others in your industry, you're not total authority. You don't feel like you are a total authority. There's something lacking. If you aren't putting boundaries because you are upset that someone, or that like you would upset someone. You feel you're not putting boundaries because you would upset someone, or that they would get mad at you. You're not putting boundaries. That is also the reason why you don't feel like you are an authority. You don't totally believe that you are an authority. If you stop yourself from selling too much because you're afraid that people wouldn't like that, you're afraid what will people think about you. I literally just sell every single day on my stories. You would see me selling every single day on my stories, and this is also one of the money-making, needle-moving tasks that I shared with you yesterday. But this selling might be anything free, it might be anything paid, and I shared that yesterday as well. But do you stop yourself from selling when you feel like you should be selling, when you feel like, yes, you're fired up, but you sold yesterday, you don't want to sell today? If you stop yourself from selling because you think that you're afraid that what will people think? Next, you read people's posts and that changes your opinions. This is such a good one. You read people's posts and that changes your opinion. If that happens to you, you are not in full authority. Feeling like your point of view is not good enough, or that someone else would say it in a better way than you, and you're creating content through filters of others' opinions, and then you're making sure that you're saying the right things, and you're making sure that you're with the rules of your industry, then that means that you are not in full authority. All of these things, maybe you can just go through this whole list again, and you can figure out what are you afraid of. or what is stopping you from doing that? Why do you not believe in that? And work through these again. Do the same exercises, do the same thought reversal exercise, and create an affirmation for you so that you can work through that. Go through this and do this again. Okay? So, this is the whole training that we discussed. This is literally going to change your life and your business. You don't need to buy any other mindset courses, work, any single thing, money mindset. You don't need to do any of those if you actually implement this thing. You wouldn't need to buy any other program, because this is actually the mindset work. No one would teach you anything other than this, or they would just make it more complicated. This is the only piece that you need. Okay? So this is the whole thing. Go through this again and again, and maybe you might go through this the next time again, and you might find something else, and you might feel like I need to integrate that also, right? So you'll find some new things when you go through this again, and you might have a better perspective or a better understanding when you go through this again. This training is going to be, this is an evergreen training. This is going to be so good. So with this, we've gone through this whole thing. This will build your inner authority, and this will help you show up in a way that builds your outer authority as well. But there are also steps inside DCA, inside the Clients Accelerator. There are, to number it, there are six steps, 6 ways, 6 strategies that I teach inside the Clients Accelerator, which actually builds your outer authority as well, so that we can shift people's perspective towards what you want them to believe in, not what they think of you as. So you want to make sure that your audience sees you as an authority in the topic of your offer. We can take these steps, right? All of those are included inside the Clients Accelerator. And let me just sip some water. So with this, I am actually opening the doors to the Clients Accelerator, and this is more than a launch course. I keep talking about launch when I'm selling this, because that is my messaging towards this, because I have worked with so many clients inside this container that I have decided that this also includes launching. And I think I shared this yesterday as well, that this has become a launch course. This didn't started as a launch course, which is why I'm also going to add a full-blown launch course into this program, and every single person would get access to this who is inside the Clients Accelerator. So even right now, people are getting amazing results even without the launch course, because we do that one-on-one with you. This is a hybrid program where you not only get one-on-one access to me, one-on-one messaging access, one-on-one calls with me, but you also get a 9-module course that you can go through, and this is the foundational thing. All of these things you need in order to bring consistent clients and consistent sales every single month. So we want consistent high income months. That is what we do inside the Clients Accelerator. So even without the launch program, the launch course that we had, but we had one-on-one calls where I was actually teaching every single thing, people were getting results like they are reaching their income goal, they are going beyond their income goal, and they have like a new minimum, energetic minimum, and there are like so many things happening inside the Clients Accelerator. But I would give you a few details about what this program is. So inside the course, we have 9-module course, and this is the foundational stuff. And I said this yesterday as well, foundational does not mean that this is just a basic stuff. When I say that this is one-on-one, that is going to be basic. But when I say that this is foundational stuff, that also includes the advanced strategies. But foundational means that you need to have these things in place in order to scale. You cannot jump through these, because that will bring you down again. You'll have to do the foundation first. When your foundation is solid, that is when you can scale. That is why I cannot give you a launch program without these foundational things. So inside this whole course, we have 9-module course, and it has been divided into 3 steps: Kickstart, Elevate, and Convert. In all of these, we have three modules. In Kickstart, we have Ideal Client Clarity module, we have Authority Building module, and we have Program Messaging module. This will actually help you kickstart, and you would have very clear clarity on this is what you need to do in order to build your authority. This is what your ideal client is. This is what the offer messaging is, so that you are very clear on what you stand up for, and you are showing up with authority, with the expert that you are. The second one, Elevate, that contains other 3 modules, that is Follower Booster, Engagement Accelerator, and Story Leads Launcher. Story Leads Launcher will help you bring in inbound sales through stories. So we are not doing the going into someone's DMs and pitching to them. What we are doing is we are bringing in leads through stories. Okay, so this will elevate a lot towards you are getting leads now. You are increasing your followers, you are increasing your engagement, and you are getting leads now. The third part of this TCA course is Convert. Inside Convert, we have other 3 modules. Leads Rainmaker Content Strategy. This will help you show up with the right content out there so that it's attracting and repelling the right and wrong people respectively at the same time, right? That's the content strategy. The next one is there's a bonus section where it helps you become Captions Pro, so that this is how you write the captions so that it converts your audience, which is based on psychology, sales psychology. And the third one, this is the most important one, Ultimate Sales Closer module. It has DM scripts, it has DM strategies. How do you actually engage inside the DMs? How do you have the conversation in order to convert into sales? This is where I actually teach you a process called Charge Pool that will not only help you nurture your warm audiences, but will also help you make them hot and convert into sales. We have all the DM scripts for that. Plus, we are also going to add a full-blown launch course, not just module, a full-blown launch course that will be added in just a few weeks. All of this plus one-on-one calls with me. This is a 12-week program, so you get access to me. You can have your calls within the 12 weeks with me, and during that time you also have messaging access to me, messaging support. And then that all of that plus the launch course that will be added, all of that equals to, also I want to add that the courses that you get access to, that will be lifetime access. So once you have access to this 9-module course and the launch course, you'd have lifetime access to it and lifetime updates to that as well. The total value of this program is $5,000, over $5,000, and when I add the launch course, it is over $6,500, because this launch program has literally changed the game for so many people inside DCA. And I'm now converting all of our one-on-one calls into courses so that during our calls we can actually focus on customizing and personalizing the strategies for you and working with you. We are creating the strategies with you during our calls. But even though this is $6,500 value, today your investment is going to be only $950. That is the price of this program. There are also payment plans available, 3 payments of $327 or 4 payments of $247. And because you're inside this program, because you're inside this masterclass, I am giving you a $100 off. So if you join within the next 3 days, you would be able to get this $100 off. So your final program, so your final total investment would be just $850 to join. Right now, if you want to lock in your spot, I've made it super simple for you. You just pay a $147 deposit and then we can start later on within the next 15 days. So right now you don't have to figure out about how do I make the payment of this much right now. You just pay $147, lock in your spot, lock in your price, because this is one-on-one, which is why there are limited spots. I would add the link to the comment. Let me just do that. I would add the link to the application form. This is not just you pay and you get inside. This is a program where we work one-on-one, which is why I make sure that we are a good fit to work together, which is why there's no payment link right now. I would send you the payment link when I see that we are a good fit. Okay, so there will be a link to this application form. You just fill out this link and then I'll reach out to you within 24 hours, or you just send me a DM that you have filled out the link so that you can get in within the 72 hours period that you have for the $100 off, because you are inside the masterclass. Okay, so I would add the link to the comments. I don't know how to do that, but let me just grab this link. This is an application form link. This is not a link to, okay. This is an application form link, and then I would add this to the post as well inside the Facebook group. But this is an application form link. This does not mean, filling this out does not mean that you are committing to something or anything, but this will just show that, this will just show your interest in the program. I don't pitch to people inside DMs. I don't pitch at all. I'll give you one example. My clients actually come inside my DMs and they actually tell me, I have a huge repeat clients, okay? I have many repeat clients. More than 80% are repeat clients. But people come to me, my clients who are working one-on-one with me, they actually come to me and they say to me that you're selling that inside your stories. Will that work for me? Should I get that because I'm in this program? And I tell them, I don't pitch to them because I know that they are interested, and I know, but I'll just share, these are the facts. This is how this is similar to what you have access to, and this is how it is different. And that is it. That is what I share. I don't hard sell in the DMs. I don't do that. You might see me hard selling on stories, and that is very rare as well, but I don't hard sell in the DMs because the decision is yours. I just tell my clients that this is what it is, these are the facts, this is what we are going to discuss, and this is how it's different than what you have access to or what program you are in. And then I just leave it up to there. I don't tell them, yes, this is going to be good for you, or no, this is going to be like, that's not up to me to decide. That's up to you to decide. There's no one else who can tell you what is best for your business. Only you know what is best for your business, because you are the owner, because you are the CEO of your business. No one else. If someone is telling you this is what you need, you cannot have your business, you cannot run your business without getting inside this program, run away from that person, because there's no one else who can decide what is best for your business. You are the most authoritative person in your business to make decisions for your business. I can just invite you inside my programs. I cannot make the decisions for you. So if you get inside my DMs and tell me, or if you have any questions, you can actually send me a DM on Instagram and you can ask questions about that, but I'll just give you the facts. I'm not going to pitch to you. I'm not going to come back and try to convince you. That is not my vibe. That is not what I teach. Okay, so I've added the link to the application form. I'd add that to the Facebook post for this live training as well. I also want you to remind you that if you take a photo of watching this training and share your biggest takeaway and tag me, you'll be entered to the giveaway. So there are two prizes. One is $100 credit towards any of my programs, and that is also available for TCA. And the next one is $50 credit towards any of my programs, and that is also available for TCA. So this is it. Your total investment is only going to be $850, but it is your choice whether you want to join or not. I'm just happy and so grateful that you joined this training, because this is what I wanted you to do. This is what I wanted you to do, because this alone is so much valuable and so much transformative alone, because I literally feel like if someone had created this kind of a mindset training, this kind of an inner authority training, I would be so much grateful to that person, because I needed this training at that point. That is why I decided that this training has to be free, because so many people need this. I wanted this training to be available. I have a call in just 10 minutes, so I will go now. You can reach out to me inside the DMs on Instagram if you're interested to join inside TCA. There's no commitment over here, okay? If you want to join, it's your decision. You want to join, you join. You don't want, but I want you to actually integrate this whole training in your life and in your business, because this is going to shift your business. This is going to be the day when you actually see that this was before this training and this happened after this training. If you actually decide that you are going to implement this whole thing, this is going to change every single thing in your business. If you do integrate this, because I've read so many mindset books, I've read so many mindset books, manifestation books, gone through so many programs, but it was so complicated and there were so many steps that I just couldn't integrate it until I came up with my own process. And you can just tweak my process if that doesn't work for you. Just tweak it in a way, because it's very simple now. But if it still feels to you that it needs some changes, maybe you can change it a little. Maybe you can change it a little or make it your own in some way so that you can integrate it in your life. But it will happen when you start working on it. When you start working on it, you would realize that this is not working for me, or this is the place where I'm not taking action, and then you can change that towards this is how I work, right? Change the steps. But I would also have you go through this training again and again and again, because this will give you new foundations, new understanding every single time you go through this, because you'd have a better perspective, better knowledge, better understanding at a new level. So this is what I wanted to go through. I have a call after this, so I don't want to show you that I don't show up to calls without any preparation. I do that. So I'm going to do that in just 10 minutes. I am just so happy and so grateful for you to show up to this training, even if you're watching the replay. Thank you so much for watching this. I really hope that you actually integrate this training in your life. I'll see you next time. Bye.